What's a conspiracy you truly believe?
That the NSA regularly posts these questions in order to see what people know.
The government puts out really crazy conspiracies so the people that post about legitimate conspiracies come across as crazy and unbelievable.
Arnett sells their biscuits in quantities of prime numbers. This forces you to buy more than one packet, to avoid divorces and arguments. Tim Tams come in packets of 11. Delta creams or orange creams come in packets of 17.
I think the trend where you show a picture of yourself now versus 10 years ago was promoted, if not invented, by Facebook-owned social media companies in order to train artificial intelligence to be able to recognize and analyze how faces age.
That one of the main reasons the US government is so against using taxpayer dollars to pay for students' colleges because they know that enrollment in the armed forces would plummet.
Big purse is in bed with small pocket.
Not a very big conspiracy, but someone told me they heard Corona, your company, started paying off news companies to stop calling it Corona and call it COVID instead, and I fully believe it. Everyone started calling it COVID right after it came out that Corona lost a lot in stocks because of it.
PETA isn't a legitimate animal rights organization like the ASPCA. While it has some true believers at the bottom, its most extreme stunts are funded mostly by the meat/leather/fur industries. The goal is to create a straw man, to make animal rights advocates look crazy to people who might otherwise be supportive.
Truly incompetent workers who get hired claiming 15+ years of experience but know nothing about their field are actually just people poorly placed by eyewitness protection. My nemesis, who was our new industrial engineer who zip-tied all the computer speakers to the floor, made me think of this one. XD makes you wonder
that the government, more specifically FBI, was involved in the assassination of Martin Luther King.
That nuclear technology and power was choked out by big oil and gas, and that fear of radiation was intentionally trumped up to incite public opposition to anything nuclear.
My favorite conspiracy theory is that everything is going to be okay.
Gogurt is just yogurt.
That the printer alignment page your printer makes you print when you install a new ink cartridge or plug in your printer or any other basic printer action is complete made-up nonsense that makes you think your printer is doing important printer maintenance while needlessly wasting ink.
That subscription models are the new hot thing because it takes all control and leverage away from the consumer because they no longer buy the product, they borrow it. If you buy a car, you can do whatever you want to it after you purchased it. If you subscribe, aka borrow it, it's either agree to any and all terms provided by the owner or GTFO, end of discussion, no compromise.
Mattress firm is affiliated with money laundering. They have so many stores very close to each other in Chicago, miles apart.
The really ugly first model of Sonic in the 2020 movie was made specifically for that first trailer, just to incite memes and draw attention to itself. Then, when they decide to change the model, they're uplifted as heroes who listen to their fanbase. Making an ugly model and animating it in just enough scenes for a commercial isn't that hard or expensive, and it's an intensely successful marketing campaign.
Conspiracy theories are created in order to muddy the waters so people don't learn the truth, which is often much more mundane.
Eisenhower's last address to the American people, he warned of the military-industrial complex as he's seen played out. Military contractors supply the US and profit off of wars. Example, look at the trillions wasted on Afghanistan. I would go into more detail, but my non-disclosure still apples do the math. War is profit, plain and simple.
The educational system in America is designed to pump out idiots, making them easier to control.
GameStop, like many stocks before it, was systematically shorted into the ground via bank and hedge fund collusion.
Textbook publishers know exactly what information is wrong in their books and take a list of all of the known issues and make sure that no single edition ever fixes all of the problems. Even if that means, accidentally, rolling a book section backwards to a previous edition with errors. This is how they justify the constant release of new editions. Example: Economics V 1.0. Errors in chapters 1, 3, 6 and 7. Economics V 2.0. Errors in chapters 1, 6 and 7. Economics V 3.0. Errors in chapters 3, 6 and 7. Economics V 4.0. Errors in chapters 1, 3 and 6. The feedback loop incorporates education programs that produce constantly recirculating sales cycles in exchange for token gestures of free copies, and maintaining a roughly constant amount of total errors in each edition.
The 2018 Hawaii missile alert was not a false alarm. I think a missile was launched and headed for Hawaii. I think the Air Force took care of that problem and then had to cover it up for some kind of geopolitical reason. There's just no way that a message like that has no redundancy or confirmation message. Operation Star Wars to the rescue.
JFK, RFK, and MLK all killed by the CIA is what I believe.
T-Rexes still exist. They are undercover, disguised as chickens, carefully planning the day they'll take Earth over again.
That our planet and galaxy is an atom in some giant people's planet, cause atoms look slightly similar to galaxies. And it's an endless loop.
Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself, especially when the guards were conveniently not on duty during suicide watch.
JFK was killed on accident by one of his Secret Service agents. Oswald was there and shooting, but an agent also accidentally fired one that hit him in the head. Edit. Basically, the theory is that Oswald shot once and in response to that the Secret Service agents pulled out their guns, ready to defend the president from the shooter they couldn't see yet. At the same time, when the drivers heard the shot they began to accelerate away, also trying to protect the president. One Secret Service agent, standing on the edge of the car behind the president, essentially accidentally pulled the trigger as the car lurched away, then Oswald fired again. It explains how the shots were heard in such quick succession, and it explains why gunpowder was smelled on the street level, and it explains why the trajectory of the impact doesn't make sense coming from Oswald.
The government wants us to be fat, uneducated, lazy and fearful. Tons of effort put into controlling as many people as possible. Go to bed, America. Bill Hicks.
Humans are somewhat psychic. I've had around a dozen different dreams that were incredibly vivid, and parts of them, usually just a mundane setting, happens years later. Always leaves me with a weird feeling.
That YouTube gets mad at me for skipping all their quick survey questions for ads, and punishes me by giving me ads for feminine products.
Bots plus sock puppet accounts masquerading on Twitter as woke people to make actual progressive opinions look stupid by association. I mean, I'm still not 100% behind it, but I can defo see why people would do it.
NordVPN and those other ones that advertise on YouTube are run by the US government. CIA, NSA. How else do they have such huge advertising budgets to sponsor every beep YouTube channel and video? Plus think about it, instead of monitoring everyone's traffic and looking for people that are hiding something, you just release this VPN that's totally safe, and now all the people that actually have something to hide give you all their traffic. How many people are using NordVPN when they don't actually have something to hide? Most people don't care about privacy like that. Yeah, I understand the concept of not needing something to hide to want privacy, but from the government's perspective, is this not the best way to go about knowing who to monitor?
The Vegas shooter didn't act alone. For some reason it's being covered up. There was cell phone footage where you could see muzzle flashes from multiple windows. Then it all disappeared. They stopped talking about it. Tried to simply blame a guy for selling high-powered rounds without a license. That was a wrap.
New Coke was designed to fail and cover the switch from sugar to corn syrup.
Jeffrey Epstein was a CIA, or a foreign intelligence, asset. Explains why he got away with what he got away with for so long, and also explains why he killed himself.
That the World Health Organization is run by owls, edited for spelling because the owls were watching.
Hot dogs and hot dog buns come in packages of 10 and 8, respectively, so you have to buy more or one or the other to make the numbers match up.
Pandas do not exist. They are just trafficked Chinese men in panda suits.
That aliens are real.
That anybody who believes the moon landing was fake is complete beep idiot.
May your day be filled with joy and happiness. And please remember to subscribe to Upvote for the best quality content every day.